Is Foursquare still a thing? How are you going to convince those people who think it's not a thing?
I hear that all the time. You know, you're not going to hurt my feelings here at all. There's been plenty of opportunities to hurt my feelings over the last like 5 years.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I think the people of there's a critical mass of people, maybe even people in this room, not critical mass, but there's a number of people that I think are over the idea of checking in everywhere that they go. Like, really, you want me to take my phone out of my pocket every single time I go to a coffee shop and press the I am here button? Like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I totally understand that. Like, I always look at, what we were doing, what we're doing with Foursquare, and I'm like, how did we get to the point where we get 50 million people that are doing that on a regular basis? Now remember, the big idea behind Foursquare was not to make an awesome check-in button, right? Like, if that was the goal, like, we did that, we can all go home. Like, the goal is to make, hello, welcome.
I guess Ramona's checking in. Yes. Just decided she needed to be up here.
Now, well, the goal with Foursquare was always, that's great. The goal was
getting good.
What's that? That's a good sign, yeah. She's like, this is Ramona, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Ramona.
Like, this is a really good conversation. I want to be a little closer. I want to be closer to the action. Yeah. No, but like the point of Foursquare was, like, how do you build software that makes cities easier to use? Like, how do you make a piece of software that learns about the places that you go to, the people that you overlap with? It makes it easier to find great places. It makes it easier to meet up with your friends. Like, that's been what we've been trying to do since NYU. That's what we tried to do at Dodgeball. That's why we started Foursquare. And the only way to make this stuff happen in 2005 with Dodgeball was to ask people to check in via SMS. And the only way to do it in 2009 was to ask people to hit a check-in button. And like, that's just the state of the world. And now I actually thought that by the time like 2011 rolled around, that we'd be past that point, that like, oh, the phones will just know where they are. We'll get some magic API from Apple that will just tell you where the device is at any time. Like, even in 2014, those things don't exist. Like, the only way that we're able to do a lot of the stuff that we can do, and this includes the smart stuff you were talking about, your Pebble Watch knows exactly the name of the place you're at.
Yeah.
Like, when you hit the check-in button at Swarm, it like knows with a high degree of certainty the name of the place that you happen to be in. Like, that stuff, that's really, really hard to do. And we're one of the only companies, I think we are the only company that can do that, because we have so much data about what's going on in the world, where people have been, what the shapes of places look like. And so that's one of the reasons that we have the luxury now of saying, like, that old Foursquare model of like, you have to check in everywhere you go? Let's blow that up. Let's change that. Let's make a version of Foursquare that gives you personalized recommendations without you ever having to hit a check-in button. Let's give you a version of Swarm that lets you know where your friends are without them having to hit the check-in button. Like, just this neighborhood awareness with very low power consumption. That stuff is very, very difficult to do. And the reason that our company can do it is because we've been trying to solve these problems for 5 years now. And like, we've been trying to solve this particular thing since like 2011. We've gotten really, really good at it.